Titans were the guardians of nature, and the great apes became the protectors of humanity.
This week on Talking About the Movies, the Titans rise again. Godzilla and King Kong team up and have to work with each other, whether they like it or not, in Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Plus,
close your eyes, and you will find yourself.
Slumdog Millionaire's Dev Patel is back, and this time giving us a John Wick for India. Let's take a look at the very cool, very stylistic Monkey Man, a double feature this week on Talking About the Movies. And welcome to Talking About the Movies, a show where we take a look at the biggest new releases of the weekend, and we've got one of the big new releases this weekend coming up. But before we do that, there was a big new release last week that I did not get to see because I had some things I had to do in my personal life, so I had to wait until this week to actually do it. So let's go ahead and talk about that film first. And I'll be kind of quick on it because pretty much everybody has said what I'm probably going to say about this particular film, but let's go ahead and talk about Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. And as I usually do, I'll sum up my thoughts on the previous movies in the series, not the entire series, because if we were to look at all the movies of Godzilla and King Kong, we'd be here for 3 hours. So I'm only going to talk about the ones from this MonsterVerse, which I think, honestly, is Warner Brothers' equivalent to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That and the Conjuring series. They didn't need to create a cinematic universe with DC, unless they could, but I mean they screwed it up royally the first time around. We'll see what James Gunn brings to the table. But let's talk about the MonsterVerse as a whole. Most of the movies I do really like. I like the 2014 Godzilla film. I did like Godzilla King of the Monsters, the sequel, even though that's probably the weakest one of the series, mostly because the human characters in that movie were not that great, mostly headed up by Vera Farmiga and her stupid idea that if she works with the bad guys, it's going to bring her son back. And when she realizes, oh wait, wait, you lied to me? It's just like, how stupid do you have to be? Like that was one of those things where it's just like, that kind of took me out of that movie overall. Kong Skull Island, I thought was probably one of the stronger ones of the series. A period piece movie where you see Kong, and you also have Loki, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury, and Mike Sullivan, and also Wreck-It Ralph as well, and also Corey Hawkins from Straight Outta Compton as well. Good cast overall here, and like I said, it was a really good period piece movie where it takes place in the 70s, takes place in the jungles of I'm stupid. I was trying to look for the name of the jungle, but it's on Skull Island. It's literally in the title of the movie. But yeah, Kong Skull Island was really good. Godzilla vs. Kong, thought was amazing. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it on the big screen like most people didn't get to do. But I watched it at home on HBO Max, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a ton of fun seeing Godzilla and Kong going at each other and then working together at the end to stop Mechagodzilla. And so now we have the 5th film in the series, which is Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Now, I haven't seen Monarch Legacy of Monsters, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. It's unfortunately on Apple TV Plus, and I still don't have an Apple TV Plus subscription, and I didn't get a chance to watch it this time around when I got the latest free trial for it, but I've wanted to check it out though, so maybe when it comes out on Blu-ray I'll finally get a chance to check it out. But we now have Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, and same director as the last time, Adam Wingard, who did a pretty good job with Godzilla x Kong and also did a pretty good job with the film You're Next a couple years ago. And in this story you have the characters from the last 3 of the characters from the last movie: Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, and Kaylee Hoddle. They're playing the same characters they did in the last film. And this film mostly is about Kong himself. I mean, Godzilla is in there, but it's like a King Kong movie, except you want to have a little asterisk on the bottom that says, with special guest star Godzilla, because he does not really show up for a good majority of the film. I mean, he's in it for a decent amount, but like I said, not enough because Kong really is the full focus of this particular movie. And in here you have Kong encountering more of his species in the Hollow Earth, including a baby version of him, which I'll get to him in a minute, because he actually was part of one of the biggest laughs of the entire movie, in a good way. And he must unite again with Godzilla to stop this tyrannical leader and a powerful frostbitten breathing titan from destroying the surface. And you can pretty much tell that it's going to be Mothra. And you have also all these other different creatures in there as well. And really, kind of like what I said before, not much more of what I say about this is going to be different from what everybody else is saying. This is a good, fun time. It's a movie that knows exactly what it's doing, the people that are making this movie, they know exactly what they're doing in terms of giving us what we want to see. We want to see Godzilla and King Kong beat the crap out of other monsters and maybe even out of each other. And you know what? We get that and then some. I like the fact that they have to work together even though they completely do not like each other. I love the idea that Godzilla is living on the Earth in Rome, of all places, and then he goes off and kills giant monsters, and then he just decides, I want to go sleep in the Coliseum, because why not? Like, it's a stupid concept, but when you see it on screen, it makes a whole lot of sense for this character in particular. And I like also how, like I said, there's a character, King Kong has a lot of things to do in this movie, and when they introduce characters like this, they introduce the baby Kong, like you see in the trailer. Like, you think it's going to be kind of like a father-son type of thing, like something out of Primal or also Logan. But no, the first time these two meet, it's pretty damn hilarious. So the baby Kong basically comes out, you know, he does the thing in the trailer, and then Kong's just like, here, let me help you out, and then the baby Kong just like bites his fingers, just like, and Kong's just like, motherfucker, and then turns out the baby Kong has these other bigger monsters with him, and Kong not only beats them all up, but beats them up with baby Kong, like he beats the crap out of him with the baby Kong, and then rolls the baby Kong like a bowling ball, and just like I said, this movie knows exactly what they're doing when they have these two characters on screen. And it's just like, keep giving us that, keep giving us what we want to see with these characters, and I'm just like, we're all yours. But there are a couple flaws here and there, mostly in the characters, the human character aspects. And look, you should not be going into this movie expecting another Godzilla -1, where you had so many is a rare instance of great human characters along with the great character of Godzilla. And I think the movie is clearly aware that that's not what they're trying to do here. Like, because I don't know if the filmmakers of this movie saw what they were doing with Godzilla -1 when they were making that film, but anybody who's going into this movie expecting the same thing that they got from Godzilla -1 should be prepared to be disappointed. I didn't go into it thinking that way. I was thinking, I really didn't think that I don't think anybody who was making the movie at the time knew that Godzilla -1 would become this groundbreaking hit film that we could become one of the best movies of last year. I don't think anybody expected that by any means necessary. And it was expected that they probably weren't going to go in that direction in this movie here. Maybe down the road when they make the next movie, because this thing is going to make them. I'm pretty sure they're going to make another one of these. Hopefully they'll bring in more likable human characters, because that's really been the biggest flaw of most of these movies, specifically the Godzilla movies, is that the characters, they're either not interesting, you don't really like them, or they don't really have much to do. Like, they only show up and they don't really do a lot there. They don't really do a whole lot to match up with the main character that you're here to see. And like I said, I think with Godzilla -1, it probably will open the door for the studios to go like, Godzilla -1, look at what they did there. Look at how people responded to that. Maybe we should elevate that into our next movie here and movies going forward. And I think they're heading in the right direction with that if they go in that direction. But I'll say this: the characters in here, they're not bad. They're decent characters overall. But they're much better than some of the other characters in these MonsterVerse movies. But at the same time, they're not really given a whole lot to do. They're just kind of like, do your thing and then just get on out of here. I think, like I said, the movie is clearly aware of what it's trying to accomplish, what they're trying to sell to the audience, and it delivers on everything but they're asking for, and then some. And it's actually kind of short too. It's not a long movie. It's just under 2 hours. I mean, it's a film that knows to get in, get out, and just basically come out and ask you, hey, did you have a good time with it? And yeah, I had a good time with it. And I think that's the right way to go with it with these movies. Like, they know that they don't need to be overcomplicated. They don't need to have this deeper storyline going on here. That was the biggest problem with the Roland Emmerich film 25 years ago. And I think they've realized now that give people what they want to see. Be like what James Bond told the villain at the end of Tomorrow Never Dies. You forgot the first rule of mass media. Give the people what they want. And this is exactly what the people want. They want to see Godzilla and King Kong working together, and even though and fight against each other and all these other monsters. Just give us that. We're good to go. And I think that's exactly what I feel about this movie. I think they delivered everything they promised with this film, and then some. I felt satisfied. I think a lot of people feel satisfied too. So no surprise here. Thumbs up. Good fun. Good thumbs up. A good, fun action-adventure film. Definitely recommend checking it out. So, So that's Godzilla X Kong. So now let's go ahead and talk about this week's big new release, and that is Dev Patel from Slumdog Millionaire making a nice return to form here. I mean, we'll talk more about him in a minute because he has made some other interesting movies besides Slumdog Millionaire. But this is Monkey Man. Now, if Dev Patel made a movie about the character from Hey Arnold, that would have been awesome. But he makes a really good movie here regardless. Dev Patel, let's talk about him for a moment because, everyone remembers him, his big breakout role in Slumdog Millionaire, which he actually got an Academy Award nomination for, if I'm not mistaken. But he's done a lot of stuff here, but there was that point where after Slumdog Millionaire, he did The Last Airbender, the terrible M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I thought when that came out, this guy's career is going to go downhill, isn't it? And luckily it didn't. He had there were a couple of little downward falls here and there, that, and also Chappie, which is the worst film Neil Blomkamp ever did as a filmmaker, hands down. But but he's done some decent stuff. He's done The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. He was in About Cherry. He did Lion. He was in Hotel Mumbai. The Personal History of David Copperfield. The Green Knight. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I mean, he has come back as a director overall, as a filmmaker overall, and I'm glad to see that he's making the comeback because I thought it was really good in Slumdog Millionaire, and I thought when I saw him in that movie, this guy's going to go places if he follows his career in the right direction. And sure enough, here we are with this film here, Monkey Man, which was originally a Netflix film. Netflix originally picked it up, and they bought the worldwide rights for $30 million. And Jordan Peele, the producer of the film, saw it and said that, well, he wasn't the producer when the film came, when he saw the film. He saw the film and he felt that it deserved a theatrical release, so he came on board as the producer under his company, Monkeypaw Productions, and persuaded Universal to acquire the film from them for $10 million. So, and then of course that's the attention that it got, starting with the trailer and then the Super Bowl ad. And it's really a win-win situation for Universal and also for this film because it doesn't cost them anything to bring this film to them, and they picked up a really damn good movie because this is a very entertaining film. You have a film where, Patel plays an anonymous young man who ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where, night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he's beaten bloodied by most popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, Kit discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. So, it's basically an Indian version of John Wick in a way. It kind of has a lot of the similar aspects to it, and also they address the issues of corruption and discrimination in India. And Dev Patel put his all into this movie, not just in the performance and what he was doing, but he literally broke his hand making the movie. The first action sequence of the movie. This guy's a trooper. He is able to pull all this stuff off, and I couldn't believe that this was actually the same guy from Slumdog Millionaire. I thought that was the craziest thing about this whole thing. It's just who would have thought that this was the same kid who was in Slumdog Millionaire? And it's just and he made a really great movie out of it. It's a really great action film with a lot of very unique and very fun action sequences, a great visual look to the film overall, some good commentary too. It's nothing about this. It feels very subtle too. The commentary. It's not like they're forcing it down your throats or anything, but it does deliver everything that it promises and then some. And I like that the film doesn't sequel bait you at the end. I like the fact that they do set up a thing where it's basically this movie is basically over at this point. There's no way it doesn't sequel bait or anything. Not to say that they probably wouldn't bring him back in any way, shape, or form if this film does become a hit. I mean, look at what happened with Crank. Crank was supposed to be intended for a one film movie, and then all of a sudden it was a huge success, so they said, we got to bring Jason Statham back, even though we killed him off in the last movie, so let's do it again. And look at what happened there. Crank 2 actually ended up being a fun film on its own rights as well. But it's a really good film. I like this. I like Dev Patel a lot for this movie. I like what he did in terms of the acting, the writing, and the direction here. Charlton Copley is also very good in the film too. That's another guy that everyone thought was going to be the next big thing. He did District 9 and then kind of fell off after that, doing nothing too significant. He was in Elysium. He was also involved in Chappie as well, the A-Team, and then he did Hardcore Henry, criminally underrated action movie. If you haven't seen Hardcore Henry, you are doing yourself a major disservice by not doing so. That is a terrific, terrific film, and he's really good in that film as well. the film delivers, I think, everything it wants to do. I mean, it is very much a John Wick film set in Mumbai in India. I mean, it works very well. It features a lot of aspects to it that just work so well. The action sequences are top notch. The cinematography is great. The visual look of the film is impressive to look at. Like, it gives the film a distinctive look to it that is very different from the John Wick movie. So you can easily distance yourself between those two films. Although I think it's funny that this and also The First Omen have the same kind of poster to it, which I thought was kind of amusing. Like did Disney copy Universal or one way or the other? I don't know, but I don't know why about that. I just thought that was kind of amusing that they both have the same poster to them. But yeah, not much more I can say about this one, too, that hasn't already been said already. It's a very good film. It's a stylized action film. It delivers everything it promises. You can tell that Dev Patel put his heart and soul into this movie and was literally willing to injure himself consistently to make a great film out of it, and it shows on screen. It's a really good film, a solid, entertaining film. Probably one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I'm really looking forward to checking this one out again down the road. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. Big thumbs up from me. I really like this movie, Monkey Man. So, because I didn't get to do a recap last week because I didn't do a show, let's recap all the movies I looked at from last March to now. I gave a thumbs up to Kung Fu Panda 4. It's definitely a sequel that does not really need to exist, but it does, and I don't think it's as good as the original trilogy, but I put it on the same wavelength as something like a Toy Story 4. Kind of an unnecessary sequel, but still good enough to say that I do recommend checking it out. I think it is still a lot of fun. I still think the animation's really good. Plus, Jack Black singing "Baby One More Time," "Hit Me Baby One More Time" it's something I didn't know I needed. So, thumbs up on Kung Fu Panda 4. I also gave thumbs up to Dune Part 2, a movie that I thought was much better than the original film. I think they did a good job of expanding the storyline. It was great seeing this on a big screen to experience the true beauty of the film. It's a really gorgeous film to look at. It's definitely one of my favorite films of the year. Big thumbs up on that one. And I also gave thumbs up to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I thought that the backlash behind it was a little bit much. It's still a fun movie. It's a fun Ghostbusters movie that is very reminiscent to the real Ghostbusters. I do like the fact that the new Ghostbusters and the older Ghostbusters are working together in this case. I mean, it would have been nice if they had turned the attention over to the newer Ghostbusters, but this one still is pretty fun. There are a couple of aspects in terms of the story and stuff that they were building up that don't really amount to anything when it's all said and done. And the film kind of rushes itself to get on out of here. But I do think that hurts the film a little bit overall, but I still enjoyed the film enough to recommend it. If you like Ghostbusters, you're going to love Frozen Empire. Thumbs up on this one. And to this week's movies, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, I give it a thumbs up. I think it delivers everything it promises. Godzilla and Kong doing what they do best. Some decent human characters, although don't go in there expecting another Godzilla -1. At least not yet with these films. We'll see what happens down the road, but overall, I really enjoyed the film, so I give it a thumbs up. And then last but not least, Monkey Man. Another one of my movies that could be one of my favorite films of the year. Dev Patel puts his heart and soul into this. He is willing to do whatever it takes to make a great film out of it, and he delivers on this film. Very stylized, very much similar to John Wick, but also giving it his own distinct style to it that makes it stand out more compared to the John Wick movies. It's a film that I do recommend checking out. It's a very good film. Thumbs up on Monkey Man. So, of course, next week, we're off because of Steel City Con, and then the next week, we've got Abigail, which is a film from the Radio Silence people who did the latest Scream movies. I'm actually looking forward to checking that out. I've been hearing a lot of the trailer looks really, really cool, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. I didn't know Civil War was opening next week. I thought they were waiting until the 26th to open that up, but it's opening up, but I'm probably going to wait until after I see Abigail to go check that out, so the next time I see you, it'll be for a review for Abigail. That'll be 2 weeks from now. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more reviews of mine, check out the playlist, check out the previous episode I did on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, hit the like and subscribe button, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time for another episode. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. So until then, take care.